All right, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So it is the end of December, and we are gonna get some time in on the Civic today. Baby's at daycare, all of my chores are done, so we're gonna put some time in here. We have to start getting this taken apart. We noticed on the dyno that it was chucking some belts, and something's not right over here, and I suspect that it is the alternator. That's the only component that is I guess new. It's just a Napa alternator. Besides the K-tune pulley, which everything looks fine on it. Once I get this removed, we'll look a little deeper, but I can't imagine it's the OEM crank pulley. But in order to get that alternator out, we have to remove the radiator or the intake manifold. So I'm just gonna take it all out because I do wanna get this recoated this winter. So unfortunately, all of this is gonna have to come out. That's okay, we have time. Like I said, it is winter. It's 30 degrees out, it's snowing. The fuel is good to go. We are down to below 20% ethanol content in the tank. It does have fuel stabilizer in it. So I'm okay with leaving it the way it is. I'm gonna start it up here just to check again, to make sure we are at that 20% or below. And then we'll start tearing into this. But before I do that, I need to spend some time in the garage, just getting some things organized and cleaned up. You know, holidays have been here. I haven't had much time in here, so I just need to get this all cleaned up and organized. So when I do pull these parts out, it is, you know, neat and organized. Check this thing out though. This is the Christmas present from my wife. It's wonderful, the Viper chair. This will be awesome for, you know, detailing and sitting on. Rather than being on my knees, it has a nice shelf on the bottom to hold product and towels. So I'm super excited for that. Don't mind the chalk. The little baby's been in the garage. So let's get that cleaned up and then we can get started. Okay, so that feels better. Now we have some space to work. We're all nice and neat. Obviously we can only do so much with the space that we have, and the baby has his own space too. So the goal for the spring is to build a shed out here. That way all of that stuff can go in a shed rather than in the garage. So that's a spring project, but this will have to do for now. Fortunately, I noticed that, so we'll have to address that in the spring. I was planning on getting new tires anyways. These Hancooks are just cheap all-season tires and offer zero grip, especially with the K24. So we'll have to start looking for a new set of tires. But anyways, let's do a quick startup and see where we're at on that ethanol content. The last time I checked, it's 20. I doubt it's any different, but let's give it a go. Bottom left, down here we're at 20%, so good enough. We're gonna now put this on jack stands and start tearing it apart. So there is fuel stabilizer in there, so it should be okay. Yeah, so let's do that. All right, so we're back up on jack stands. Seems like that's where this car has been for quite some time, but that's okay. We're gonna disconnect the battery now, get it on a tinder so it does not go bad over the winter, since it is a brand new Honda battery, and then we'll just start pulling this off. I do have space now, keep it nice and clean, and that way we can be organized while this sits for the time being. But it is what it is, so we'll just start chopping this log, get it torn apart, and then we can start making the steps to go forward. So here's something I just thought I would share before I do take this apart. When I did the B series swap in here, I bought the Run Hard Industry battery cables and grounds for the whole engine, and those were great with the B series, but they don't work for the K. And when I sold the swap, that whole wiring went with the car, and I did save my original OEM stuff. So here's the original ground, cleaned it up. It looks it looks brand new. And then this is the original power cable that goes to the fuse box. And then to get power to the alternator and the fuel pump relay, I just have them a little slit in the back of here and then running behind. So I thought that was a clean way of making that work. Those both go through the firewall. Maybe while this is out, I'll figure out a better way, maybe to have it loom in with this and then separate out and down that way. That might even look better. So I'll have some time to clean some things up. There are some different iterations that I want to do, or think about how to maybe route things a little bit better. And I'll have the time to do that this winter. So we'll just start by getting this out. I thought I'd show you that. I'm glad I saved these because they do look brand new and they look OEM, so they do look good. So let's get this battery out and get it on a tender. All right, so I have a clean tub here that I'm going to use to catch as much coolant as I can. I'm going to save it and reuse it because it is brand new, and I don't want to have to purchase more. So we'll get this under there, and all we have to do is all right, so the intake is out. I'm not gonna have to remove the overflow, which is fine, to get this radiator out. But one thing I do want to share with you, maybe this is a buyer beware, but this hybrid intake system, initially I was thrilled about it, but now that I've had it, I don't really love the material it's made out of. It just decides to hold the dirt, and it's difficult to get off. They do warn you about leaving the plastic on, but you know, it does clean off, but then it does seem to want to attract dirt, and then to remove it, you know, you are cleaning it. So it might be time for a different intake, maybe a titanium one in the future. But just thought I would share that with you. I don't love the mounting system either, but it is what it is. There's where I located that factory temp sensor. So something to think about before purchasing, and I have some time to decide if I want to keep it for the spring. But let's keep going. Let's get the upper and lower coolant hoses off, and then we can get this radiator out of here. Okay, so the radiator's out, no problems there. And let's see, I'm gonna leave the upper one connected if I can. There's no reason to take it off. It does have a swivel here, so that's not a problem. Now we have to undo the map sensor and the wiring for the drive-by-wire, along with these parts here. So a lot has to come undone to get this out, but it's all good. Gosh, I hate coolant, man. It just makes a mess, and the Asian blend that they sell just dots everything up this light blue color. You can see, you know, I still have some floating around back here from when that radiator cap popped off. So I just hate dealing with it, but once it's all back together, or once I get this out of here, I can clean it up and get rid of all of it, and hopefully we don't have an issue with it as we move forward. So we'll start taking this stuff apart and removing the fuel and whatnot, and then removing that intake manifold. So I know I mentioned this in a previous video when I was installing the wiring harness, but this Haltech plug and play harness from Roywire isn't the most aesthetically pleasing harness, just because it has so much, you know, so many options that come in it. It's more so built for a race car, not for a tucked look or anything like that. You know, it has the plugs for 4 extra injectors, can plugs, a bunch of different sensors and fail safes and things like that, that I'm not utilizing all of those. But that being said, it does get quite bulky through here and doesn't look as good as I would hope, but it is what it is. The other option would be to build my own harness, and maybe that's something I'll do in the future, but for now this seems to work well, and we're going to just go with it. I'm going to remove the throttle body and then the adapter plate before taking the fuel lines off, and then finally getting the manifold and then the alternator out. So these are just Allen heads, 4 of them that come off, and then we'll set this aside and work on getting that manifold off. Did I mention that I hate messing with fuel too? It just ekes me out, you know, fear of a fire or something going wrong. But anyways, that being said, I got some microfibers under there to catch the drippings, and a towel here, and the good old fire extinguisher. So one up there and there. So you can never be too prepared. I'll just crack this loose, and we still have some pressure in the lines after it's been sitting for a while. So I'm expecting some to kind of spray out, but I'll cover it the best I can and let it trickle out. And these have swivels on them too, so I'll be able to swivel that up out of the way, and then we'll get this one off, and then we can unplug injectors and get this guy out of here. Okay, so here's what I was talking about. We definitely had a cooling leak somewhere here, definitely out of this port. This one's now blocked off, right? Because the RBC and the Skunk 2 manifold don't have this port, so it's just this one. And you can see there's some coolant running down there. There's even some in that pocket, which I assume just seeped over. So a couple things. If we look at this, I even put Honda Bond on this gasket here. And coolant is getting past. It's wet on this side, but this side actually is dry, minus this down here, which I believe just came from the bolt. So it doesn't look like anything seeping on this side since it's dry from the port. There's no wetness out of the port, which makes me believe it's coming from somewhere here. And then when we flip this over, you can see we were leaking out of here. Now I'm wondering if this press fit is not good. It's hard to tell if it was running out of the bottom and then over to here, or if it's coming out of here and running down to the bottom. You know, wouldn't be a surprise if it's just a faulty or a poor press fit. How I fix that, unclear at the moment. But it doesn't look flush in there when you start to look around. It's definitely caulked in there. So I don't know if we need a new manifold or where we go from here. Remember, I had to have this opened up to fit that 74 mil, so I don't want to have to do a new manifold. I wonder if there's a way to fix this. So we'll have to look at that as we go on. But this is off, and now we can get the alternator off. And if we look down here, it looks like I was leaking a little coolant out of the fitting that goes into the thermostat housing. So I'm gonna have to address that. It does have an O-ring on the top. Maybe I just didn't tighten it enough. So let's get this out, and we'll just do one thing at a time as we move forward and start addressing these little issues. Okay, so here's the alternator. It is a new unit from Napa. There's the part number right there. And I suspect that this is our problem. At least I hope this is our problem. You can see a bunch of belt residue on the alternator. And again, this is the second belt that it has started to chew in less than, I would say, 100 miles. So we threw one on the dyno, and after I got home, I switched it out to a brand new Gates again, and I noticed that it is starting to eat it. Also, the data logs show that at idle and low RPM, you know, the volts are 13.8, 13.9. Under wide open throttle, though, it does instantly drop to 13.0, and then after 7,000 RPM, it falls into the 11. So I'm not sure. I assume this is the problem, so I'm gonna have them test it. Regardless if it tests good or not on their bench, I'm gonna replace it. Maybe I'll replace it with a Remand Honda one rather than a Napa one, but something's not right here. I've inspected the pulley and everything looks fine on it. I mean, there are a few little dings in the teeth here, but nothing that should cause that, I don't think. So I'm gonna look deeper into the pulley components over here and see if I notice anything. You know, this can't be removed without taking all of this off. I don't think this is it. This spins freely. It's brand new. That spins freely. Brand new water pump and an OEM crank pulley. So, and I don't think it's an alignment issue because the belt wasn't walking off. It was, you know, just deteriorating, and with the voltage droppage, that makes me believe that it is the alternator. So I'm gonna get this to Napa. We'll see what they say. Regardless, it's gonna get replaced with something. So now that that's out, let's get this organized because it is gonna be sitting for a little bit, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, so the alternator is in the box. We're gonna take it to Napa, put it on the bench, and see what the results are. I hope that they come back negative, so this is the issue. I'm really hoping that's the case. If not, we'll just have to see what a new alternator does, and hopefully we don't have the same problem. This is a little concerning to me too. I do think that it's coming from this this port right here, this press fit. I don't see how the coolant could run up that way when it's angled like that. I would assume the fluid would want to only run down, and it looks like it's coming from here and trickling down. So I got to figure out what I need to do. I got this from Real Street Performance. Maybe I should call them and see if they want to, you know, send me out a new one. Again, we still will have to port this open. So I have some time to figure this out. But injectors are out, throttle body's all here, everything's organized, and I don't know when I'll get back in here to keep pushing forward, but those issues need to get taken care of first. I did put some towels in the intake ports just so no debris would get in there, and everything should be good to just sit for the time being. So again, thanks for watching. I don't know when the next one will get uploaded, but Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and let's just hope that all of this is fixable and it turns out. So again, thanks for watching. Enjoy the day, and I'll catch you on the next one.